A very warm welcome, everybody, to the Drivers' Press Conference ahead of the FIA Formula One Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Two groups coming your way, as ever, and Group 1, left of screen we have Piere, in the middle we have Nico Hulkenberg, and right of screen we have Oscar Piastri. Very warm welcome to you all, guys. Oscar, perhaps we could start with you, please. Now, this could be a monumental weekend for McLaren. They can clinch the Constructors' Championship this weekend, which would be with 7 races still to go. It's been a phenomenal season. Just how different has it felt on the inside to last year's title success?
I think very different because, this year has just looked very different to last year. I think, last season went down to the final race and had a pretty eventful final race as well. So I think this year it's clearly the car has been a step better. The team has been performing very well. So there's a much more of a sense of inevitability about this year. So, which is an amazing position to be in. It's a testament to all the hard work from everyone at the team. And, I'm the lucky guy that gets to drive the car at the end of the day. So, it's a testament to everyone's hard work, and very, very proud of everyone.
Now, once the team's championship is in the bag, the focus internally will go on to the Drivers' Championship. You've had almost a couple of weeks to reflect on what happened at Monza and giving that place back to Lando. Have you had any further thoughts on that when there's so much at stake?
Naturally, there's been thoughts, yes. We've had good discussions with the team. Obviously a highly talked about moment, but we've had a lot of discussions, clarified a lot of things, and we know how we're going to go racing going forward, which is the most important thing. So what's happened is done, and I'm excited to go racing here.
Look, any changes going forward? Are you expecting less interference from the pit wall once the Constructors is in the bag?
Not necessarily because of the Constructors' Championship, but I think we've again had a lot of discussions about how we want to go racing, and a lot of that is to stay for us because. Ultimately, if we give out that information, then we become very easy targets to pick off because everyone knows what we're going to do. So, that's all very aligned with all of us, but it stays in-house.
Look, one further question from me on this. If it had been for the win at Monza, would you still have given the place back?
But it wasn't, Tom, so I don't know. It wasn't in that scenario. Would it have made it a bit more difficult? Probably yes, but I don't know if the outcome would have been different. But I'm not planning on finding myself in that position.
All right, Oscar, best of luck this weekend. Thank you for that. Nico, if we could come to you now, and we'll throw it back to Monza as well, which was a very, very frustrating Sunday for you. Does the team fully understand why you couldn't make the start there?
Yeah, of course we did. Obviously, pretty frustrating and bad at the time. But it is what it is. We found the root cause and obviously put some measures and things in place that this should not happen again in the future.
Well, let's bring it on to this weekend then. Do you think the low downforce nature of Baku will suit the car, suit the package?
I think in Monza we were competitive. Obviously here it's a little bit similar but also different at the same time. But if you look across, the last 5-6 weekends and different tracks, I feel we have a competitive package and car beneath us, and nothing that suggests here it should be different. I think we will be competitive within the midfield. Remains very close and fine, tight margins. From P10 all the way to the back. So, you just got to be good, clean in the execution bit. But, I feel there's opportunities.
You say the car was competitive in Monza. Of course it was. Do you think you're competitive across all racetracks now? I'm just looking at the tail end of the season and how you think you're going to go.
I mean, since Barcelona, I think apart from Zandvoort was a bit our, weaker weekend and track. But everywhere else, we have been competitive, and I think we have been scoring points everywhere else. So that, pretty much confirms or says that, package is working on many different tracks.
All right, Nico, thank you for that. And Piere, coming to you now. The last couple of races really have been quite difficult for the team. What are you expecting from this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I think we are aware that it hasn't been, as good as we would have liked, and the remaining part of the year is probably going to be also pretty difficult for us. So I think it doesn't really change our approach into the weekend, and still trying to do the best we can. But for sure, in terms of performance, we seem to be more consistently struggling to make our way through, just into Q2 and getting close to the top 10. So we know it's not going to be an easy task, but still we're going to give it our best chances. Yeah.
And is this racetrack here in Baku the sort of place where that Gasly magic can make a difference? Because you have a great record here. You had the podium, of course, back in 21. And then I think you even said that your run to P12 here last year was actually one of your best races.
Yeah, I think last year was my best. I mean, driving-wise, we always look at finishing position. But I think in terms of, my drive on the Sunday was probably my best race of the year. Nonetheless, I was still out of the points and probably a lap down. So, still not great. But I think it's, we know it's on paper with that long straight. Like, looking at the performance of the package, even chassis-wise, there are things which needs to be improved. So I think it's all areas. We know at the moment we are not in a position to be fighting that top 10. We need some other factors to come in play for us to get some chances, but we need to put ourselves in a position to benefit from anything that happens. So hopefully it can be one of these weekends. Don't mind some rain if it does happen, but we'll see.
Piere, you've just said it's going to be a difficult second half of the season for the team, yet you have committed long term to Alpine. What convinced you to do that?
I mean, we know it, and I've backed the team from the first day, start of the year, to fully commit onto 2026. So we made some tactical decisions not to develop that car, to stop the development very early on. Probably got affected also by the couple of changes of regulation through the year, and which meant we started in a okay place and probably lost some performance through the year, when others managed to develop probably a tiny bit more. And looking at the gaps, you're not talking much, but 2-3 tenths one way or the other just get you to the top 10 or completely to the back of the field. And fortunately, we're more towards the back, but no, I mean, in terms of decisions, we know why we are in this situation. I think all the efforts we are doing for next year gonna be rewarded in a couple of months, and I know the team is working extremely well for the new regulation. I can't wait to start 26.
Only 6 months till Melbourne next year. Thank you for that. Right, let's open this up to the floor. We will start with the broadcasters. Who's first, please? Yep, Harry. At the front, please. At the front. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Harry Benjamin, Sky Sports F1. Question to Oscar. Sorry, Oscar, I'm going to follow up, as you well know. You say things off the back of Monza are clearer for you, and we have this kind of idea of a list of race scenarios. Are you able to clarify that for us about what is on that list of race scenarios where we might see what happened in Monza happen again or not?
No, I can't get into every scenario. No, I think from Monza, there was some another factor outside of the slow pit stop being the order we pitted in. That was a contributing factor to why we swapped. So that one I'm quite happy to talk about because it's happened. But any other scenarios, again, you can't plan for every single scenario that's going to happen, but I think we're very aligned, and ultimately I respect the team's decisions and trust that they'll certainly do their best to make the right ones.
Thanks for that, Rach.
Oscar, can I ask what Mark Webber said when you got back to hospitality?
Not a lot, really. Yeah, not much. Ultimately, the biggest thing for me from Monza was it was a weekend where I deserved to finish third. I didn't deserve to finish second because of the pace I had. I was quick at certain points, but not quick enough the whole weekend. And ultimately, that's kind of my main takeaway from that. What I'm trying to focus on going forwards. And Mark is very much on the same page with that. And yeah, again, I've discussed with the team and with Mark about what happened, and we're all aligned going forward.
Thank you. Next.
Margot Lafitte, Canal Plus. Question for Nico and Oscar. Sorry, Pierre, but we have already had you in French. We're talking about the specifics of this Baku track and, of course, this huge long straight. Can you talk us through your approach and describe how you defend or attack or even restart after a safety car?
It's a very unique track. Obviously very, very slow corners, long straights, no runoff. Well, there's runoff, but you've got to do a U-turn to come back on. So, yeah, just kind of the normal street circuit things, but then obviously with much heavier braking zones than normal. So you do have to build up. The grip level increases a lot through the weekend. So, yeah, it's a street circuit, but unlike other street circuits, you've really got to focus a lot on braking because you can win or lose a lot of time there, or brake or not brake a lot of parts on your car.
Yeah, it's just the straight, out of turn 15, it's just a long, long time on full throttle with those two, obviously, high-speed kings. It takes quite a while. Feels like probably maybe the longest straight of the season there. Obviously, toe effects or slipstreams, are very powerful and, can often be a topic here. And if you defend or attack, it really depends on the racing scenario. If you have, obviously, a train of cars that, brings you one dynamic, but if you're the first car and then you have, you're giving toes to people behind, it's not that much you can defend, to be honest, because you're going to be vulnerable. So it really depends on the racing scenario and that situation.
Nico, people talk about this racetrack being unique, but does it have any similarities with other street tracks? Does it feel like Jeddah, or is it more like Monaco in terms of how you approach it?
No, I think it's a standalone. Feels completely different.
Okay. Next, please. Yeah, front.
Tom Slayford on Spain. Question for three drivers. I guess you saw the images last week of Max Verstappen debuting in Nordschleife. It's something that Nico did a couple of years ago, racing in Le Mans during the Formula One season. I don't know if any of you had thoughts of racing in a different category during a Formula One season, and if you did, which car would you like to try?
I wouldn't mind right now for the end of the year try different cars, but I think in general, as a motorsport fan and lover, I think it's always, if you have the opportunity or you have the, let's say, environment to make these things happen, for sure it's something that must be very exciting. So I think it depends a little bit of the focus and the time you have available for these sort of things. But I think in the future, it's clearly, as I say, I want to probably try different tracks, different category, just for pure excitement and just for your own pleasure.
Nico?
Yeah, just honorable how he loves racing. How much time he puts into it. Formula One, sim stuff, GT. He's just such a passionate racer. Just fully committed to it. 24/7, lives and breathes it. So, kind of admire it. I did it. Had a taste of it in 2015. Slightly different, of course, but if I would want to do that now, I'm not so sure. It was fun back then, but just hats off to Max.
Nico, how much of a distraction from Formula One was that sports car program in 15?
It was very refreshing. A refreshing distraction. No, it's a different, obviously, racing environment. I dipped into it, had a few tests and then 2 race weekends and events. So, it was not super consuming for the whole year. It was a couple of months. But, it's always nice to explore other things. There's always things you pick up. It's not always one-to-one, things you learn and you can apply in Formula One. But, if I look back on that year, obviously doing Le Mans was very successful. But at the same time, it also didn't hurt my F1 on-track performance. Quite the opposite, I think. So, yes, it was quite fun. Thanks.
Maybe in the future, I think quite happy with where I am now, but potentially in the future, I think the biggest thing for me would just being to give that opportunity the respect it deserves. Racing at Le Mans or Nürburgring, whatever it might be. You obviously, I think it would be not the wisest to just jump straight into a race. You'd want to do some laps beforehand and whatever. And I think at the moment, time in the Formula One season is hard to come by. So probably not in the future, in the near future.
Thanks all. Next.
Lukas Ostovic from Austrian Television, ORF. Oscar, McLaren can win the Constructors' Championship this weekend, and with 7 race weekends to go after this one, it would be the earliest ever. What does it mean to you, to the team, and does it change something in the approach for the weekend?
No, it doesn't change anything in the approach, but I think it's just, again, a testament to all the hard work from the team. It's a pretty remarkable position that we're in to be, even talking about clinching the Constructors' Championship this early. So it's just a very proud moment for everybody, myself included. Just excited to get back in the car and drive all of their hard work.
Thank you. Harry, back to you.
Question for Piere, please. Piere, you've experienced challenging times in your career, and especially at Red Bull, and you rebuilt and you came back stronger. I just wonder if you had any perspective or advice that you could share that might help Yuki out. We obviously know he's having a tough time at the moment. There's a lot of pressure there. What can you share that might give us a bit of insight from your perspective?
I mean, I think every single situation is quite specific, and we all manage it or process it in different ways. So I think it's kind of depends how you are as an individual, as an athlete, what might work for you, what may not work for you, and the sort of support and environment you need around you. So, I mean, these are stuff that I talk with Yuki, obviously very openly. We have a good relationship, and I think, ultimately he needs to work out what's the best way of focusing on the performance, because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters when you're in a competitive sport is the performance you put out there, and got to figure out with the limitations you're facing what's your best chances of displaying your skills in the best possible way. So I think that's the main thing, cutting the noise. Obviously there's always going to be a lot of talks, a lot of noise around, and that you need to find a way that it just doesn't get to your head. And I think at the end of the day, you just got to wake up every day thinking, how am I going to get better at what I'm doing? Whether you go through better times or challenging times, that's the only question that will push you forward. And hopefully that's what he managed to do until the end of the year.